Last time on Fixing Up, in association with Amazon, we gave our brand new T4 Dayvan a really good look over. We went underneath it to check for corrosion. We checked all the bodywork, we went inside, looked at the interior, what there is of it, and of course we had a look at the mechanicals. And that's where we're going to be starting today. What are we going to be getting on with, Clive?
Well, it's pretty exciting and a packed programme today, Danny.
Is it?
We're going to be giving the engine a thorough service, which means we're changing the cam belt, the auxiliary belts, engine oil and filter, gearbox oil. We're going to change that battery because that's pretty much had it.
Yep.
And we must change the starter motor because it's on its last legs.
It's funny you should say that, Clive, because I've been on Amazon. Look what I found.
Hurrah.
A brand new starter motor for one of these. It's a 1.9 non-turbo diesel. Quite a rare thing to find, but I found it there. We've got a pretty big jobs list to be getting on with, so we better get started, don't we?
Absolutely.
Time to get rid of the tired old battery. Brand new battery from Yuasa going in. Job done. So I've just fitted the new Yuasa battery. It came with these two plastic caps that go over the terminals on either end of the battery. The old battery is still fully charged, so I always put the new battery's covers onto the old battery to lessen the likelihood of it being shorted out. The other thing is really important to make sure you dispose of your batteries responsibly. We're currently taking the front panel off. We've just got a pair of hardcore pliers with a tiny little Allen key on a 90-degree angle. I've put it in, slipped it behind the panel and pulled it forward, and Clive's just doing the same on the other side. It's just an easy fix. Once this panel is off, we're going to take off the top cross member and then fold the whole of the front assembly out to give us more room to work in the engine bay.
Okay, well, we've had a bit of trouble getting at the air filter. It's got a simple clip on the top, but it's also got another clip at the front which releases a cradle, which is what foxed me, but it's out now. We've got a very dirty air filter. We're going to replace that. And also, inside, we've got a lot of leaves and other road detritus, and we're going to throw that in the bin. Pop it in there like so, and then wiggle it back into the car.
So while Clive's doing that, I'm going shopping at Amazon. I've got to get a stereo ordered up because we realised we haven't got one of those. I'm also going to get a separate speaker on a Bluetooth so you can take a speaker outside and have that playing when you're having a picnic. Lots and lots of things to book. It's all here on the Amazon app. It's great. Right, so we've done all the easy stuff up top. We've got a new battery in, new air filter. We've got this front panel forward on its hinges. Now it's the tough stuff. We've got to change the cam belt and the auxiliary belts and the cam belt tensioner. The water pump's okay. It's a 3-hour job. It's quite hard work. It's a technical job. So while Clive is doing it, I'm going to go outside and help Matt Tompkins with the flat pack furniture that's going to go inside the van that we bought on Amazon. So is that all right, Clive?
Lovely.
All right.
Thanks very much, Danny.
I'll see you later, mate.
Bye. I've cracked these Allen bolts off here, which I think they were done up before by a small gorilla. But I used a ratchet for that. And now I'm just taking these bolts out and they hold the pulley on. And when I do that, it will release this belt. But that can come off. And then that releases the belt. You have to take that belt off before you take the other belt off. So we can start loosening the alternator. We can pull that back and release the belt.
So while Clive is suffering 3 hours of Volkswagen T4 cam belt change, I've come out here to help Practical Classics workshop editor Matt Tompkins, otherwise known as the Flat Pack Ninja, with these incredible cabinets that we bought on Amazon. They're custom made for the T4, so they're going to fit perfectly, but they are made of MDF and we need to paint them. So that starts with an MDF primer, which is what Matt's currently doing. We've also bought some really nice eggshell blue paint that's going to match the van perfectly, but first I'm going to help Matt prime the cabinets. So Clive's been under the bonnet sweating away for the last 3 hours. He's replaced the cam belt. Clive, what was it like for you?
Well, I'm a bit tired and emotional, Danny. Not unlike this timing belt,
Yeah,
actually.
so what's wrong with it?
So while the belt is not cracked and it's not actually that old, it is damaged there.
Yeah, and we've done the tensioner as well. So that basically means that all the work that we need to do at the top end of the engine bay is done. Now it's time to get the van up in the air so we can do the oils and the starter motor. But first, I'm going to disconnect the battery. And there's the oil. It's black. Doesn't smell too great. As you can see, I've just taken the sump plug out and I'm draining the oil at the moment. One thing that I always do is I always take the receptacle with the oil in it, the old oil, put it to one side, and then when I've filled the engine up again with the new oil, what I do is I use the new oil can to decant the old oil into, and then I take it to a household recycling place. It's moving, it's moving, it's moving.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
There we go. And one more, one more, one more. Ah, you done it. Okay. I mean, it's nearly, it's at the end, there it is.
Yeah.
Lovely. So we've got the correct grade 5W30 here from Liqui Moly, but Clive's going to do something before we pour it in. What are you going to do, Clive?
Well, using this precision device, I'm just going to apply some oil around the sealing ring of the filter, like so that when I do it up on the car, it doesn't snag on that seal and damage it. You should only put these on hand tight. You should never over tighten them because you don't want to distort the filter and cause a leak. That's it.
So we're about to change the oil in the gearbox now. The gearbox has got a filler and a drain. Really important tip. Always make sure you can open the filler before you drain the oil out, because if you drain the oil out and you can't open the filler, you are really going to be in trouble. Okay. Hey, beautiful. So we've just dropped the oil out of the gearbox. We're going to refill it with EP90. One of the things that you'll notice when you take the drain plug out, they're usually magnetic, which means they'll collect any metal shards that fall out the cogs. And this one, it came out really, really clean. I've cleaned it up now, but there was no metal detritus in there at all, which says to me that the gearbox is in pretty good condition. You might wonder why I'm actually using a high quality oil on an older and more worn engine. Well, I always think you should use a more high quality oil in a situation like that, and that's why Liqui Moly is perfect for this van. Right, and as with every restoration that I've ever done, we've hit a snag. We've got the Allen bolts, there's 3 of them that hold in the starter motor, and one of them is seized, and we've rounded off the Allen fitting inside the bolt itself. Of course, it's the most inaccessible one right at the back. But in order to make sure that we can get it out, Clive has fashioned an extraordinary tool, which he's about to tell you about.
It's basically an old Allen key that we've cut straight and cleaned up, and we're going to try and weld that in the head of the Allen bolt and then undo it from the other end.
Fingers crossed. Can't, mate. Most important when you're doing any kind of welding is safety, and that's in particular concerning the eyes. You risk doing permanent damage to your eyes if you don't wear a mask when you're welding. That's why we've both got our helmets on. And these gloves as well, these gauntlets, really important because you will have sparks all the time and you don't want them going up your sleeves. So Clive, there you gauntlets, mate. Let's crack on.
Well, that looks a bit chewed up.
Yeah, it's not nice. So here is the special tool, Clive. Describe what you've done, because we've got it out, we've achieved success.
But Well, you can see why it didn't want to come out because it's so corroded at the top.
Yeah.
And actually the bolt itself is a bit of a banana shape.
It's not. It's worked.
So that's all that matters. So now we need to look for another bolt to replace that. Okay, so now we're going to attempt to make that fit back into there, which hopefully will go really smoothly.
Go on, Clive. If anyone can do it, you can.
Yeah.
Clive's just manhandling it in. So I'll hold it in there for you, Clive, if you want to put the bolts in. So that was the mechanicals. It wasn't too hard, was it, Clive?
Says the man that didn't have to do the cam bell.
I made his tea. Next time on Fixing Up in association with Amazon, we'll be looking at the bodywork, and that means paint and making sure that the underside shines just like new. So important if we want to achieve a good price at sale time. Remember, if there's anything that we've featured and you want, get yourself an Amazon. That's parts or tools. You'll find them all there.
So see you next time.